Welcome to Big Brander Podcast. My name is Dana Ohana, and this is the place where you're going to learn more about social media, brand building, and other marketing topics. And today I actually have with me a visitor, Erez Eltawil, and I will give Erez like to present himself, and then we're going to speak with you about database, how to make the most out of your database. So Erez.
Hi. So my name is Erez, as you said. I live in Israel and I work for a consulting company for marketing automations and operations. So that's the next level of your marketing efforts because once you get the initial, you can post on social media, you can send email in little scales, but once you want to go a little bigger, then you'll have to start manage your database. And once you start managing your database, then you can actually follow up on everything that you do on every platform in one place. And then you can actually target your audience, your main audience, very easily.
Okay, so we're gonna take it now. So now from the start. So as a business, we are trying to build a database in order for us to communicate, engage with them, in order for us to, eventually to convert them from being in the database to an actual clients. And there's different ways, and I do have an episode on how to build your database from scratch. But once you start having it, you're starting basically, right, to communicate with them. And then you use platforms like MailChimp, for example. And as a start, what are the things that we can actually learn as we start a business?
So the first and the main, and I think the most important thing in running a database is have the data relevant. So once you have a data, you have to make sure that it's clean. First of all, there's a lot of bots, a lot of people that are subscribing to your newsletter or to your emails, and they don't really need to get them. And then when you resend them the emails, then your emails will go to spam. So that's the first thing to follow up on is make sure your database is clean. How do you do it? There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of insourcing or outsourcing options, but the main idea is to make sure that the industry that they're working in is right for you. So that's the first basic place. Second, make sure the emails that you get are correct. So there are a lot of tools of doing that, but you can do it manually if it's a small business at the beginning at least. There are a lot of data enrichment tools which you can get more information about prospects before they even become leads. And then you can go up the scale. So you start with them being leads, you follow up on them, you can nurture them until you can make them MQLs, which means marketing qualified leads. And then you can actually start working with them until they're ready for sale.
How do you basically know when a lead is ready for sale? And I think that this is something very important because a lot of the time we collect so much data or we're trying to collect. And I think that there's a spot, if I'll go back to your business foundation, that's what I link to the business foundation, right?
Right.
So what we basically need is, in order for us to find the correct leads is...
So first of all, you have to know who your buyer persona is. Okay,
so you know your audience, your target audience.
Exactly. So know exactly who. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm using my lingo because that's the.
Oh, good.
But the buyer persona and the audience is basically the same thing. Who is the person that buys from you? Who is the company that buys from you? Usually, okay. From there, you can start building your database more correctly because if you don't target people that are not relevant, then your emails won't go to junk. Your social post will get more relevant likes and not just random ones. And that's
why, but that's why I always say, like, knowing your audience is the most important thing. Because once you know your audience, you know where to find them, how to engage with them, when to engage with them, you know everything. So everything is based on this. Because eventually if you're trying to be everything to everyone, it's like what I call throwing the spaghetti on the wall. Whatever sticks, sticks, whatever falls, falls. And that's not how you grow a business. That's not how you're not growing to build a strong brand, because you're going to be on a survival mode the entire time. That is why it's important. And I do have an episode about defining your target audience, which I do recommend for you guys to go listen. So now when we know our audience and we know, and I know that for me, it's very important to always look at the data. always check the data, right? Because the numbers, even if we don't like numbers, the numbers tells us everything, right?
The numbers are everything. And again, if you go to a little bit to the next level, so what we do in automation, we actually score our leads according to their actions, to their behavioral and the demographic actions. Demographic is not an action, demographic scoring. And so if he's from the United States, and we know that we get most of our clients from the United States, then he'll get a higher score than if he's from South Africa. Okay, because I know I don't have clients here to target. That's not where I can make my money.
Yeah.
So that's the basic idea. Before they become MQL, we score them according to their actions and demographics. And then we know when they're ready to start talking to them actually about the sale. So from my point of view, I usually work with big companies. So the life cycle is very long. Client can become a lead and then actually buy only after 2 years.
But that's the same as like a small business. There's
exactly,
a lot of people
but a little slower. That's what I meant. Like faster. The all
not necessarily. So as a small business, then some of you can resonate. And you know what happens. And I think that's the thing is with social media, we have that expectation that everything will happen so quick and so fast. But it's actually not, okay? Because it takes time. People can actually follow you for a while, but it's going to take them 6 months, a year, sometimes even more, to get the courage to come to you, to save the money to come and work with you, or different things. And I think that's the beauty of like creating a database and start building it, but not only building it, but also maintaining like the quality audience you want to have there. Okay, so that's why, as you said, like knowing your audience will help you to know what to target. Because is the example you said, like if my audience works in specific areas and I see that most of my list is not from that area, so what's the point of me having those people on the list? Even if I have, let's say, 10,000 people, but they, let's say, all from like England and I operate in the US. So what's the point? And I think that's the beauty of it, because if you look at marketing in general, there is foundations, right? And if you have your foundations right, then everything can work out. Because the same as if you don't know your audience, how can you do Facebook ads and Instagram ads? How can you do Google ads? How can you do so many different campaigns? So when you work with platforms like MailChimp, so you can see some of the data, right? You can see who opened the mail, where the location, and small things like that. What is the next level from here? So let's say I've done my list, I'm working, but I want to know more. What else can I learn on my database?
So on your database, one more thing just about what you said. So the main idea about all this process is keeping your brand top of mind on the client side. Yes. Exactly. So once it's on the top of his mind, then he knows if I need this service, I'm going to go to Dana because I heard her so many times speaking online.
Doing blah, 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 blah.
Never mind, but it gets stuck, okay? Yeah. I always compare it when we were kids, they used to put flyers in our mailboxes. And you never read them, you always threw them out. But once you needed an air conditioner, you said, oh, air conditioners, I remember that from the, right? And you looked it up. So that's the main idea that we want to build. We want to keep ourselves in their minds until they make the decision to buy. So after you actually create the database, the first thing that we do is segment it. So we segment it according to, usually that's not like one area or one behavior that you follow up on. Okay, I have companies that have mostly cybersecurity industries that work with them, but also medical equipment.
So I'll just explain for people who don't really know what it means. So when you building a business and you know your audience, when you're starting to grow, you are capable of segmentizing them, right? So you put them in a way in different categories. So let's say you can say, I want to reach out to the different industries. So let's say my product, I want to give it to healthcare or automotive, or I want to give it to something else. Or you can say, I want to divide it and segmentize it by young ladies, older ladies, mid-aged ladies, like things like that. And those are the different things that you can basically play and segmentize. So that's what we're speaking about when we're saying
Exactly. And
this.
then you can send them the information specifically for them. You're not going to create the same email or the same ad for somebody who's 80 and for somebody who's 20.
Exactly.
And they can both be your audience. So it doesn't always necessarily mean that if they're in different group ages or different countries, that they'll have the same. Of course, it doesn't mean that they have the same needs.
The big message is, so you guys need to understand, because I know from like also working for the B2B marketing, is that the big message is the same, okay? But you need to learn how to speak to your audience, and to each and every one of them, you speak differently. So to the different stakeholders, because they have different KPIs, they are getting measured around different things. So the one, like for example, procurement manager will be measured about like how much money he can save, an HR lady about like the quality, like the employees and the happy and everything around this. And that's why it's very important. But also it's important to understand that as a small business, we really want to niche down. So we want to focus on a specific niche. But once we decided that, okay, this niche is already coming to us, okay, I have their database, it's already working, I've built that system. Now I want to move to the second like stage, to level up. When you want to do that, that's where the part, okay, you need to start adjusting your message. You need like play with this. And that's what the segmentation is really helping you with. That you can actually, basically what you're saying with the new platforms today, I can send a direct message from my email list just to those people. And I know that even on MailChimp, you can tag them, which is something I'm using. I'm tagging my audience. So I know that sometimes I want to send just to those people, and sometimes just to like people that were like interested in just in my webinars, people that are interested in my freebies, and then I can play with it like this.
Right. And one other thing that you don't want to do is overflow them with emails and don't post every day. So that way you can actually time your posts and your emails to, let's say, on Mondays I target them, on Tuesday I target them, and again you can even check when to send the message. So if I know that old ladies always first thing Sunday morning go to the computer, so I better send them the message on, I don't know, Saturday night.
But it makes sense. I have a client that she does sex toys, and I know that like when we create a newsletter for her, it's only like towards the weekend and only in the evening, because no one will open an email on sex toys at like 8-9 o'clock in the morning. It's something usually you want to do like when you like in your own private time, like quiet time.
Yeah.
In general, right? It's like in general. So how much, like, what's the recommendation, like, to how many times, like, to send a newsletter or like communication through email?
Usually with my clients, and again, we're B2B, I work a lot with B2B companies, so up to 2 emails a week, that is fine, but again, it depends.
You see, I'm like once a week, and that's like...
Yeah, but for companies, when they get a lot of information that you know that sometimes they'll miss the first email, or they won't open it, they'll just go, it will go missing after the weekend or something. So usually up to 2, but again, it depends on the size of the company. For small companies, I wouldn't recommend more than 1, because for small operations, it takes the client time to say, okay, I want to open your emails. Sometimes it's just overwhelming, and then they'll just unsubscribe and goodbye.
Yeah, I think it's also to read your audience and to read yourself, because one of the things I always say, it's not just that your audience needs to resonate with you, it's also you need to resonate with them. It's the both of you. And if you don't like, because I personally don't like getting lots of emails, and I do follow certain people because like they're from my industry and I want to see what they're talking about, stuff like this. And some of them are sending pretty much on a daily basis. And for me, it's too much. The only reason I'm not unsubscribing is because I'm intrigued to see what they're talking about. But it's too much for me. So I would not do it. So you also guys need to learn what's right for you or not as well. How much do you have to say and how important it is to say it? So it could be that you're good to do once a month, or maybe every second week, or once a week.
So I'll give you the other side of things, because I work in email and I hate emails. So if I get one email too many, I just unsubscribe, and I don't even care who the company is, because I can't have the mailbox is already full all the time. I can't have all these emails coming that are irrelevant to me. So if it's not interesting, if they send too many mails, I unsubscribe immediately, and that hurts your company, because once too many people unsubscribe, then your database is not first of all, it's not correct. It's not with the people that you want them.
Which is a good thing, because on the other hand, you're learning to eliminate those who are not really your audience. Because if I'm really your audience, I'm going to stay there. I'm maybe not going to open your emails, and I'll take one day a week that I'll sit and I'll read all your emails, or I'll put them in a specific folder. But I see it as not as a bad thing, because eventually, if you're being true to yourself, you want to attract the people that are right for you, right? That you both are right for each other, which it's a great way to remove the wrong people.
But again, once you create a database, that means somebody already contacted you in some way, because usually in a database is based on emails. So that means that in some platform,
he either bought from you,
exactly,
either like
filled out
your
a form.
content. Yes,
exactly.
Sure.
So he did contact us in some way. So if we get too many unsubscribes, that means that we're doing something wrong.
Also true.
So my vision is there should be unsubscribes, because not everybody likes to get emails, and sometimes they don't know that they tick the box or something like that. That a healthy database has some unsubscribers, but it can't be more than like 5%. If you have more than 5% unsubscribers, and if most of them do it immediately, then something is wrong in your approach.
Which is something you guys need to check. Okay, so now we spoke about this, but what else can you learn like from other platforms about your database? So we spoke about segmentizing and using that like with the different tags. Every platform, it works differently. What else can we learn about our database through like platforms such as Marketo, MailChimp, and others?
So, okay, MailChimp is basically a platform for sending emails. So from there, you can mostly learn about how the emails, how many opened, how many click, what's the click to open ratio, which is the most important thing in my opinion, because I want to know how many people that opened the email actually clicked it and went to my website. So once he did that, then I know that he did an extra action for me.
So for you, it's not the open rate, it's like how many from those who open it have clicked on
Right, because the open rate tells you a lot. It tells you that the email passed the first level of curiosity. So that means that your subject line was good, that your pre-header was good, that the content was interesting.
But you gave them a good teaser and you intrigued them to really click and open.
Exactly. So they wanted to see what's in the email. So that's the first sign, the first good sign. But click-through, that means that he read it and he wants to know more. So those people get, from my point of view, they get the most scoring, and we want to keep interacting with them. So that's the first sign. Second sign is interaction with your social media. So that gets a lot of points too, and coming into webinars. So basically, again, MailChimp is for mails, it's great. But if you want to go a little bit further, then you can, with HubSpot or with Marketo, you can get all of the database, including from webinars and from seminars, and hook it up to a CRM of sales. Again, that's higher levels, but you can get a lot more from this database, the same database, and it's all made automatically. So that's the main issue there. You can start by sending manually from, from Outlook to your clients a weekly email. But then you ruin your reputation from your Outlook, and it can go to spam for a lot of clients, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the base. Basically, you can get so much more if you use marketing automation software. But for little businesses, again, I think you can start, like, if you want my recommendation, you can start by using ActiveTrail or MailChimp, just for the mails and to see how you automate things. Okay, don't do everything manually, and then you'll get a lot more time to follow up on the data, and you don't have to always address I need to send the email now, I need to send that.
That's why I always say you want to work smart, not hard. Okay, and that's part of it, but that's maybe a different episode about automations, but it is part of it, because if you're doing everything by yourself and you're not using the tools that you already have around you, you're wasting so much time and energy, and you're not even growing because you're just doing instead of checking what was working and what wasn't.
Right. I want everything to be done automatically, basically, okay? If if somebody registers for a webinar, I want him to get the email. I want him to get everything then afterwards, the emails that remind him of the event, and everything else I wanted to do automatic. I don't want to worry about it after I
Yeah,
first
that's
set
what
it
you
up.
call like the different journeys that you have on like MailChimps and others that you can actually do and put the different stages that on this day they'll get this, on this day. So basically you prepare everything up front and then you just build it up and the systems just deliver.
Exactly, and you just follow up on it. So that's much more efficient than doing it manually every time.
So I think if we'll sum it up, okay, so we have spoke about like the importance of knowing who's your audience, right? That's the basic. That's where you start. That's your foundation.
Right.
Once you do that, you're starting building and accumulating like a bigger list. And then you start working with the list and start to eliminate those who are not supposed to be there, those who are not going to work with you. You create a content that they find as valuable, of course. And then you always look at the data. And of course, you work with the different systems that will help you to work like smart and not work hard. And is there anything else like that you want to mention? We spoke about segmentizing them and ensure that to be more accurate with our message to a specific audience.
Right, and after you can see that they're ready to sell, that's the selling part. That's when the sales part begins. So you need to work on them until you can see that they're starting to ask more questions. They're starting to behave like constantly. They're clicking on every email that you send, or after they went to a webinar and then a day later they went into your website. So you can actually follow on all of these and see the journey that he makes, and then you can say, okay, now he's ready. Now I need to start talking to him. Now I need to start actually communicating them one on one, not by email, not actually give him a call,
Yeah.
actually see if they need something.
That's why one of the things that I like in one of the systems is that you can actually see like who are the people like by the email address who've opened your email, and then you can see how many times they've opened. And what I do recommend clients is that you need to take that list and see if someone opened the email more than twice, give him a call.
Right.
Ask him, like start a conversation, start building a relationship with them. Because you saw he was interested, because you've checked it a few times, but something is holding him back. But if you're not going to have a conversation with him, how can you know what's holding him back, right?
Right. And we have there's another system. If you don't want to make a call so quickly, then what you can do is start personalizing the email for him. So what I mean is send it from your email address, not from the company's. Start building up something that he looks that it's more personal for him. Because basically with
more tailored made.
Exactly. Basically what I believe is everything for people, the buying process is personal. You need to feel like you're talking to him and you're not talking to everybody else.
To feel special.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking about, building communities.
Exactly. And today we have the tools to know exactly what the leads have done, and if we can start getting more personal with him specifically. So what I recommend always, like, send them an email from your email box and say, hi, my name is that, I'm the owner, I saw that you were interested in my, and then it's personal, then it becomes, and for small businesses, that's the most important thing.
It is. You want that one-on-one.
Exactly. You have to know your client.
Exactly. So I hope you guys have some takeaways from this. If you have questions, you're more than welcome to reach out and also search for Big Consulting on social media. And thank you, Erez, for being part of it and for so much information and knowledge to share.
No problem.
Thank you so much. And guys, good luck and keep on building a database, but keep on building it right. Don't just get the numbers, get the quality. I always say quality will bring the quantity. Focus on that. Good luck.
That is correct. Good luck.